Hey Abdi. Wow, that was fast from you. I guess YouTube is sending notifications now because I don't imagine you would have joined exactly when I clicked start the stream. I'm a little bit under the weather, I gotta say. So today's my saint name day. I don't think you have this in Islam, but here in Eastern Europe, especially with Orthodox Christians, it's a big thing. So you got your real name that you use with other people, and usually sometimes people get a second name, and that is the name of a saint. So when that saint is being celebrated, like every day has a different saint, then that is your saint name day. And it's kind of similar to your actual birthday, like people celebrate it. Although I have to say, like in Greece, from what I get it, like most people don't celebrate their actual birthday, but they celebrate their saint name day even more. And I was supposed to do something today. I wanted to go out with my wife, but oh wait, I can't because they require passes everywhere. They require papers. And I just don't want to play in that system. So I'm not interested, right? And I decide to stay home. And I'm like, okay, maybe we're going to take a little bit stroll in the neighborhood, but it started raining. And, and I guess I didn't get to do much anyway. I wanted to play some Call of Duty, and I did earlier today, but surprise, surprise, it crashed my PC yet again. I mean, I think that game, how many times did it crash by now? 5, 6 crashes? And I looked it up, right? Because I got a very good graphics card. It's the best graphics card in the world. I got the last one. The CPU, also good. It's a Ryzen 9. So also great CPU. I have RAM. Like there's no reason why that game wouldn't work on my computer. And it turns out it crashes for many people. I'm not just the only one that experiences this. It's absolutely disgusting what the gaming industry is at nowadays. Absolutely horrible. So you get a full price game that you pay money for. Not only does it crash, but when you go onto the forums, you find people defending the fact that it crashed. Like, oh, it's just released. It just released. Like, why do you expect it to work? I don't know, because I paid money for it, you dumb fuck. Like, why would you say that I shouldn't expect it to work? What is this mental deficiency coming from within the community, alright? Like, it's not the developers that are... No. Like, people who pay money for games, they're, like, fine with the idea that it shouldn't work because it just got released. Do you say that when you buy a dildo and you stuff it up your ass, you sick fuck? I mean, I work hard for the money, right? So if I pay money for a game, I expect it to run better. You know, I'm fine with like 1 or 2 bugs. I'm fine with it, but at least let me run the fucking game. At least let me play it. Like no game crashing, no bugs that prevent you from progressing, like none of that. It's fine if an enemy just clips here and there, or you know, like an AI acts stupid. Like I'm okay with that, but come on, up your preferences, people. Great stream yesterday. Really wasn't great. I don't know. I was a little bit tired, but thank you, Sarah. I hope you enjoyed it. You hate name days. I don't know. Like people here celebrate it. But yeah, was really bad. I couldn't go out. This is like the second time, I think. 2019 was 2020 was the first time where I couldn't go out. I guess second year where I can't go out. It's fine though. I'm starting to get used to it. Make this a call-in stream, dude. I don't do that. The TOS. The TOS. Also, I never like people who do call-in streams. It sounds like people who really have nothing to say and they're relying on guests in order to provide the entertainment. Anyway, I wanted to talk about something really interesting. What should we talk about today? Let's talk about the environment, right? Because I had a talk with a friend of mine, and I'll probably make a video on this subject because I find it really interesting. But did you know that there's a lot of, how should I say, comparisons between the environment, like environmentalism and Catholicism? Like, if you actually think about it. So, instead of worshiping God, well, environmentalists worship the earth, like Mother Gaia, right? So, it's a little bit of spiritualism, like, especially when you see The Guardian publishing articles like Mother Gaia released COVID and shit like that. Like I made a video about it. Absolutely ridiculous. But what the actual comparison between Catholicism and environmentalism is trying to prevent people from doing excesses, right? So you should live a life where you don't do excesses. So you shouldn't eat meat. You shouldn't play video games too much. You shouldn't drive a car. Like, you should live a humble, simple life. Like, that is what... Like, it fascinated me when I thought about it. It really is that, isn't it? Right? Because if you don't do that, the world is ending. Like, you're hurting everyone. And it's pretty much similar to Catholicism. Like, if you don't live a simple life, then God will punish you. He might send a hurricane, or he might send an earthquake to your community if we allow members in our community to have excesses. It's really that, isn't it? Right? Because like that the only difference, I guess, is like a Christian actually would live the simple life, but I've yet to see an environmentalist live the simple life. Like I've yet to see a single environmentalist live without AC, live without a gaming computer, actually choosing, like having a car but choosing not to use it, choosing to live in a simple home. Like, let's say he's got money for a mansion, but he chooses to live in a one-room apartment. I've yet to see that. But the ideology is there. Like, the ideology encourages you to live a humble life. That's a shame. I had some jokes that would cheer me up. You can put them in the chat and I'll read them. In all things, moderation, including moderation. No, environmentalism has no moderation. Like, you need to live a simple life, period. But it's just mind-boggling. And the reason I'm saying, like, you don't see environmentalists live that simple life is because of this, right? So you see Ursula von Leyen. I haven't voted for her, but maybe you. Maybe she's going to get punished at the polls next election. Like, maybe she's not going to get re-elected. So EU's top official... And by the way, like, this is also annoying. Like, I noticed the black mask that politicians wear. Did you notice that? Like, that must be a PR campaign or something. Like, I don't know. But it's so weird, because I walk on the street. And maybe you guys can see it in your country, right? But like, you get politicians, and even Donald Trump wear it. And I just want to know why. Like, you have, like, this black mask. Like, a lot of politicians wear it, and it's black. I never seen it on the street, by the way. Like, no one on the street actually wears a black mask. Like, usually, you will see people either wear, like, the custom one, like the cheapest one that you can buy. And then there are some women, very rarely, but there are some women that actually have, like a mask that has a little bit of a design or something that goes with their clothes or whatever. Although, I gotta say, okay, if we actually want to treat this from a medical perspective, these things are made for one use only, you fucking morons. Alright? Because if you keep using them, they get bacteria, and the whole purpose of it goes away. Like, it's not sanitary if you keep using them. If we care about the science, the science. Of course, I myself have one of this. I think mine is from 2019. But I'm just saying, alright, like, if you care about the health, it doesn't make sense buying one with a very fascinating pattern, and it's not a fashion statement, okay? Because you're supposed to use it once. It's one use only. Why they come in a box? It's not like underwear. But the black one is very weird, because I don't know where you can even buy one. I'm pretty sure, like, you can if you look for it, but you can't really in the stores. Like, you have to order it. And I see politicians all the freaking time, like, using the black one. I don't know why. Like, why can't they use this one? Like, I've yet to see an important politician use this one. Like, all the politicians use one with pattern or fancy things. Look. Like, I don't think you'll see Nancy Pelosi wearing this. What is this? She looks like she's in the Dune movie. She looks like she's trying to make friends with the Freeman. For House Atreides. For the Duke. Yeah. I'm overthinking the black mask. Maybe I am. I don't know. I just like noticed at one point I was looking at the television, and I'm like, huh, because it was my president using the black mask, and I'm like, what? Okay, hold on a little bit. And then in my brain it clicked. It's like I remember Donald Trump using the black mask. I remember Joe Biden using the black mask. I remember Boris Johnson using the black mask. And then when I go outside, not a single person uses the black mask. And I'm thinking like, what? And hold on, no. There's actually, there is a thing on the internet, I put it in This Week in Stupid, where everyone is putting the black mask, because like the cameras start rolling. Like you have the people in, I think it was in the French parliament, and none of them were wearing masks. And then the cameras start rolling, and they all put on their black masks, and there was a guy that had the blue mask, and he takes it down and gets a black mask from someone else. And I generally think like this is you say you overthink it, but most of the thing that politicians do is what the PR tells them to do. So for example, if you look at the politicians' hands, there's actually like an entire art form just doing the hand signs, just like how exactly to hold your hands when talking. I'm not kidding. Like there's books written about it. And you're going to notice that some politicians, right, like they use the same hand signs. Like for example, this, it's called the cage. And you're supposed to use it when you talk about pushing through, like you want to push through an agenda and you hold your hands like this. Right? Some politicians don't follow it, obviously, but others do. So the purpose of it is to convey to the public something more. And it's probably the same with the black mask. Like maybe there is a PR guy which is like, okay, you need to wear black because such and such. I don't know why, but like I wouldn't be surprised because I see it in different countries. So when you see it in different countries, it is probably like the PR guys which figure out something scientific about some social science on why you should wear black. Like maybe it dramatizes the moment more. Maybe, it's supposed to put them above the plebs. It's put them like, no, like these are different than average citizens. I have no idea why, okay? But I just noticed it. It's entirely possible that it's just a coincidence. I'm not saying that it's 100% true. But what I did is like, okay, well, I noticed the pattern and I just expressed it. Hand signs are probably in Shutsu era stuff. Well, it's true. I mean, I don't think that the hand signs are something new. Like, if you think about it, hand signs are part of nonverbal communication, and 80% of what we do is nonverbal. The masks are mainly to stop the spread, not really to protect the individual, says Donkey. Sometimes he wondered if I go to medical school. I would go with deaf, but there's like some terms of service on YouTube, which doesn't really allow me to express what should be expressed in certain situations. But yes, Donkey, you're absolutely right. How silly of me. No, just keep doing what you're doing. By the way, don't use the same mask, okay? It gets bacteria. You're going to get sick. You might have gingivitis if you keep using the same mask over and over and over. Wash it or use a new one. Don't use the same piece of cloth. Fuck me. Drinking rain deer pee when it's a high on poisonous mushroom will get you high. Wait, that just blew my mind. If you eat a poisonous mushroom, you're going to get liver damage. But I don't know if poisonous mushrooms get you high. That's also interesting. Can they get you high? Bacteria versus virus is what I mean. Don't mean to rile you up, especially when you're under the weather. Well, no, I was talking about bacteria, man. Like, if you keep using the same mask over and over, you're creating a perfect environment for bacteria to cultivate it because your breath causes moisture. So now you have the same mask, the bacteria, you put it in the drawer or whatever, and you allow bacteria to grow there. You have a culture now, all right? When progressives say white people don't have a culture, that is a culture. And when you put the same mask back on, you get the bacteria. So it's not healthy, all right? Don't use the same mask over and over like I do. because I'm a cheapskate. I still have it from 2008, from 2020. Same mask. Hey, if it works, right? So far, from what I understand, I haven't gotten anyone sick. Why? Because I'm not sick myself. Ha ha ha. Okay. Donkey, do an experiment, right? Just, I'm not telling you anything regarding how effective or not effective masks are, but I'm asking you to do an experiment. The droplets, right? The droplets, you can't see them. Try vaping while having a mask on. And blow the vapor as hard as you can. And let me know how it works. I'm pretty sure the mask stops everything, right? Because it protects people. So you're not going to have a problem, right? Just do the vape. Or do something else, right? Like put your mask on, take your glasses if you have any, and blow through the mask and see if the glasses get foggy. Like let me know what you think, and try different ones, of course. Go through different ones until you reach the P ones, the PPs. The PPs might actually be better, but just try it out. Try the experiment, and then tell me if I went to med school or not. I'm a Michael. Yes, today is Michael and Gabriel. I'll do what I want and wear the same mask. Still haven't gotten COVID. Well, if you're a young lad, it's not really like you can wear the same mask, I suppose. The one on the thumbnail is Michael, yes. Oh my god, people recognize it. See, the Muslim didn't recognize it. I think Muslims actually have Michael and Gabriel, but they don't have the depictions of them. I have the depictions. You haven't worn a mask outside in 6+ months when it was mandatory. Didn't get sick. I mean, we're talking about hygiene. You know, like you can't use dirty hands and not wash your hands ever and not get sick. But you're taking a risk. Local Romania rants about masks of color. Yeah, I just don't get it. It's like, why would you buy a mask for fashion? That's what people do in more rich nations. There is two directions in question, exhaling versus inhaling. Inhaling protects me from the small bits of Mexican beer that might hit the mask, while exhaling, yes, on infecting. I mean, if you really want to, you can ask your dad to vape, and you can both wear a mask, and you can ask your dad to vape while you breathe in the air through the mask and tell me if you get to smell the taste of the vapor. Do that experiment then. Alright, like if you really want to go there all that route, you want to do the scientific route. So sit next to a person that's vaping and tell me if you can smell the vapor in the air while both of you are wearing a cloth. Do you know what caused the Ice Age and the Worm Age? This is prior to human industrialization. Dude, I don't know. Again, I'm not going into that. I'm just pointing it out that the lifestyle for environmentalism is very Catholic in my opinion. It means you have to live a very simple life, very modest life. No usage of cars, no usage of AC, no eating meat, no flying airplanes, no computer gaming. By the way, like one of the most hypocritical things is when you see a company like IGN or a gaming company say they care about the environment. It's like, motherfucker, you are gamer. Like, sorry, you are making entertainment, right? Like, life can go on without you. I would rather give away gaming than give away meat, for example. So you're a video gaming company which requires people to have expensive rigs, and when you start up the computer, you can shut down the electricity of an entire village if you're in a more developing nation. And you care about the environment? Fuck off. I don't believe it. Believe the science. Two things in this phrase do not ever belong together. Yeah, I mean, belief... No, actually it does, like, believe the science. The only difference is, like, science tells you that... And I keep using this example, right? Like, science tells you that urine, like, the pee is a good electrical conductor, right? Like, if you pee in a bottle and you put a cathode and an ion, like, the electricity is going to go through. It doesn't tell you whether or not you should piss on an electric fence. That's a matter of policy. and politics. All right, like you can take the chance if you want. I'm not, but what I want to say is that science doesn't tell you whether you should or not. It just tells you it happened. Okay, science tells you gravity exists. It doesn't tell you whether or not you should jump off of the bed. Contreras is his given name and Michael is his Christian name. Yes, like that's exactly what it is. A lot of people in Orthodox faith do this. We have two names. Honestly, if anyone calls me Michael, it would be so weird for me. I wouldn't even react. Because like no one calls me that. But it's still my name. But it's weird. I guess this is how a woman feels after getting married. So anyway, right, the reason I talked about environmentalism is that you look at how the rich people live, you know, and these are the people that want to build back better. And like taking a private jet to fly just 31 miles. And you know she did it on your taxpayer money if you're from Europe. By the way, like, wouldn't it be better to just take a fucking helicopter if that's the case? Because you probably spend less fuel. Why would you take a private jet? Like, isn't the distance to the airport just a hassle? Oh my god. You know, like, tax the rich. Yes, why not tax the bureaucrats? How about that? Tax the bureaucrats. Tax the elites. Tax the politicians. You know, like, by the way, like, this is the mindset, and I heard it from people who actually went to the European Union, to the EU Parliament. Like, they really hate people who have private businesses. Like, they despise, they look at them with suspicion. Meanwhile, if you're a bureaucrat, it's like, oh, progressive, Ursula von der Leyen has been accused of contributing to a climate disaster. Yeah, no fucking shit. After using private jets on more than half of her overseas mission, including short hops to London and Paris. Again, why not use a helicopter? Like, honestly, like 31 miles, really? The European Commission president even jetted to Glasgow for the COP26 summit. Oh, you know, I'm not going to hold it against her. Like, it was like a swarm of bees, the COP26. Like, literally everyone that came there used the private jet. Again, in the age of Skype. Alright? In the age of Skype, where you can actually have an online conversation. Like, kids can't go to school. They have to use Zoom in order to listen to the teacher. But politicians who talk about, oh, we need to save Mother Gaia, they get to take private jets. Fascinating. I'm just mind baffled. Why aren't people calling this out? Like, this is what I don't get, alright? Because I'm not a person that gives a shit. Honestly. I don't care. But there are other people who care. And I'm talking about those people, right? Not the mainstream media, not Greta Thunberg, but people who genuinely care about the environment. Why aren't they calling out the politicians? Like, how can you miss this? How can you just not... So, no, seriously, it's like if the Pope would have a whorehouse in the Vatican. Like, you would think people would call him out for it if they knew? I know it happened in history. Who was it? Like the Borgias? Like there was a pope that actually did have a whorehouse in the Vatican. But I assume like people didn't know at the time. Like the peasants weren't aware. So, but imagine that, you know, like you're a peasant and you're being shamed because, I don't know, you've been drinking, right? Or you're being shamed because, you lusted for a woman. Let's say you lusted for your neighbor and like neighbor's wife. And the priest shames you. And then you find out that the Pope has a whorehouse in the Vatican. How would you feel? Like, how would you be like, dude? So, an analysis by the Telegraph reveals that the EU's top official ordered air taxes for 18 out of her 34 official trips. Now that is fucking progressive. Air taxes. Listen to that. Air taxes. Wow. You know, when you watch Back to the Future all those years ago and you saw the future, yeah, this is what I didn't know. Like, we're going to have air taxes now. The shortest of the journey was a 31-mile hop between Vienna and Bratislava. Unfucking real. I bet she doesn't even think it. I bet she's like, you know what? Hello, embedded senior policy advisor. Private jets are a disaster for the climate. Oh, shut the fuck up. I don't think there's a single climate activist that doesn't have a private jet at this point. From the talking heads, from the people that like the actors and the important ones. Honestly, the only person that didn't fly a private jet was Greta Thunberg. But her team did. She went on a boat, so she traveled over the ocean with a boat. But her team actually used private jets. So, but she didn't. So props to her. I have to say, like, credit is where credit is due. From presidents and prime minister jet setting around the world to business people flying to conferences that could be done over Zoom. There are many alternative models can be used by the wealthy and important, including trains and coaches. Economy class flights. Jesus fucking Christ, can you imagine Ursula von Leyen in economy? Get the fuck up. Many of Mrs. von Leyen's journey on private jets could have been taken on a more environmental friendly commercial option such as Eurostar train to London or a car to Paris. Man, look at her. Do you think she belongs in a car? Honestly. Like, she even has a mask. Custom made. Do you honestly think that she would put her ass into a car like a normal person? No, she's the elite. Jesus. If she was in a car, how would you know she's important? EU rule states that Eurocrats are allowed to take air taxis when there are no viable commercial alternatives. Oh, trust me, like there is never a viable commercial alternative when she's involved. The commission said that von Leyen flew to Glasgow on a plane powered by biofuels. An air taxi is only used when necessary to enable presence at meetings in various places with packed schedules. Yes. So the Spanish official had also used the air taxi, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, while you have to live your life without air conditioning, they get to fly on your taxpayer money. Because that's what really infuriates me, right? Is the fact that it's tax paid. So they're pissing away your taxes, and at the same time they want more taxes. Because it's like, oh, well, you know, we need to support such and such, and we need more programs. Cut taxes then from you guys. Like, instead of adding more taxes, why don't you cut some of the spending? Honestly, like the socialists, it's like, oh yes, we need more taxation for such and such, and like America, so we need more taxes for infrastructure, and why don't you cut the spending? Like, use the spending wisely. You already tax us enough as it is. Honestly, a lot of people don't even know just how much taxes they're paying. Like, just so you understand, right? You're paying taxes when you get your wage. You're paying sales tax or VAT tax if you're in Europe. You're paying taxes when you employ someone. You're paying taxes when you get an inheritance. You're paying taxes again when you buy a house. So when you buy property, you pay tax for that. And then you pay luxury taxes, and you pay gas taxes, and you pay green taxes, and you pay, like, dude, when you look at it, like, honestly, to me, last time I checked, it was around 50%. Like, 50% of what you make, you pay either indirect or indirect taxes. So, for example, the gas tax, that's an indirect tax. The sales tax, right? So you already pay tax when you get your wage, and then when you use your wage to buy shit, you pay a tax again. Like, we're already paying too much taxes. Like, what? If the government wants to do something and it doesn't have money for it, they do have money for it. It's just that they're pissing it away. You have lots of people on who talk about security matters. Should all leader people who get death threats on Twitter go coach and figure out the security issue? I mean, the airplanes are already, in my opinion, highly secured. Alright? Especially after 9/11. Like, when I went to the airport, I got a pat down. I didn't complain about it, but it happened. I mean, there's just so many things that like, normal citizens have to go through in order to get into a plane. There's so many checks and background checks, and if you're telling me that the politicians don't feel secure after all that shit, then drop the shit. What is the point in having like so much security issues? Like, you're patting down people, you're putting their bags on an x-ray, you get dogs to sniff people, you run background checks on them when they purchase a flight, you're checking their IDs, and you're telling me that even with all that, a politician isn't still safe to travel? Get the fuck out. If they're not safe to travel after that, then I don't know what to say. And by the way, just by the by, isn't it that when a politician finishes their term, they're like a normal person again? Like, Jean-Claude Juncker doesn't fly private jets, he flies economy class. Well, not economy class, because he probably has more money, but they fly normal planes, alright? They only fly private shit when they're in office. So if someone actually wants to threaten Juncker, like, they could just wait until he stops being a politician, if that's the logic. But I don't think so. And by the way, like, online threats, give me a fucking break. Like, everyone gets online threats. Is there a single person on earth that doesn't get online threats? Carbon reduction politics is probably going to kill 1 million in China this winter because the coal prices are damn high for the peasants. Actually, there is a little bit more in depth with China. Like, for those of you who don't know, they boycotted Australia. And they used to get the coal from Australia. And from what I understand, the Australian coal has some properties which makes it really good. Like, it burns a lot better than other coal. So after they boycotted Australia, the Chinese economy started suffering, and they had power outages, and they had to shut down factories early. Like, it was a really big mess. And now they're trying to import coal from somewhere else. So it might not be just like the environmental thing. It also might be the fact that, I mean, they shot themselves into the foot with that one. To be honest, if I was a world leader and forced to go to the COP22 thing, I would fly there to let the maximum emissions out of spite. Let me show you something else, right? So, US president sleeping COP20, right? Because everybody's talking about this. But there's something that a lot of people don't talk about. So the Telegraph pointed this out. Let me just give you the... Okay? Right. So everybody's talking about Joe Biden. But look at the people around him. Just look at the people around. So this lady is checking her phone. I think I don't even know what she's doing. Is she doing makeup or just checking her phone? This person is also looking at the phone. This person is... And just look behind, okay? Another person looking at his phone like no one gives a fuck. Look how many are on their phone. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? Like, everybody's focusing on Joe Biden, but like, look around. This guy is sighing. He's like, ugh. I mean, this doesn't seem like a captive audience to me. It doesn't seem like people are taking notes and actually giving a fuck what's going on. Look, this guy is also like, come on. This lady is looking at something else. Now this guy got his phone up, like, you know, so you're telling me, yeah, the US president is falling asleep, okay. What is everyone else doing? Like, everyone else is with their faces in their cell phones. You know, like Greta Thunberg, no more blah blah blah. Yeah, they're taking her advice. Thank you, fixes in. Greta wasn't wrong, blah blah blah. Translation, virtue signal. And if you disagree, you're a science denier and you're a bigot. Do you know that Facebook, and I think YouTube as well, is now starting to crack down on people who aren't playing along with all this? So I think YouTube is going to demonetize people who don't believe, who deny the climate change, right? So if you do that, you get demonetized, then Facebook outright bans you. So I think like the crackdown is just going to get worse, and I've predicted this since 2019. I said it's like, okay, so after the COVID thing, they're going to go back to the whole climate change thing, and they're going to demonetize or outright ban channels that don't play along. I mean, there's no more two sides of any issue. Like, you're not allowed to have an opinion that you don't care or don't believe in or something. No, you have to get on board with the program. It's like, okay, whatever. But I'm just saying, like it's going to be interesting to see how people react when it actually starts affecting them. And right now, it actually did start affecting them. Like the price for gas is starting to skyrocket. I was looking at the Kyle Rittenhouse picture, where he surrenders himself to the cops. And in the background, you get to see the gas prices. And I literally couldn't fucking believe what I'm seeing. Like $2.09 a gallon. Like, what the fuck? It's me again from Singapore. CO2's got way of putting poor old underground dinosaurs back above. Keep up the great work. Thank you. The climate is mostly determined by the orbit shape and the Earth rotation axis. The last time we had an ice age was when the planets aligned. I don't even care about this, man. Like, the only point that I make to environmentalists is that why is Barack Obama still having a house next to the ocean if he believes the water levels are rising? Like, why isn't he selling now? And the second thing, how is me paying more taxes to the government going to help? Why aren't the taxes that I pay to the government going to planting more trees or investing into technology like fusion or something like that? Instead, they're going to the budget so that Ursula von der Leyen can take another jet trip. Like that's what I'm really upset about. I don't care. I mean, okay, fine. You want the world to be more clean. You want, okay, fine. But let me see that you're actually doing that. Just so I can show you something else. This is what everyone should start doing. I mean, I'm definitely encouraging people to do this. Read articles from years ago. Like, if you want to see just the bullshit that goes on, read articles from 5-10 years ago and listen to what they're saying. So this one is 17 years ago. This is brilliant. Look at this. Pentagon tells Bush climate change will destroy us. All right. Britain will be Siberia in less than 20 years. So listen to this. Apparently secret report. Oh my god, super secret report. Pressed by US defense chief and obtained by the Observer warns that major European cities will be sunk beneath rising seas as Britain is plunged into a Siberian climate by 2020. Ooh. Any British people in the chat? Hey, you know what? I'll save you. I'll save you from the tundra. Sell me your house cheap and I'll buy it. You can move to Romania. I'll buy your real estate. Come on, British people. Like, this is good business. I'll save you from the tundra of 2020. You won't have to deal with it. You're going to be beneath rising seas. So sell me your property now. Do it. Look, experts say. Experts claim. Look, the US was suppressing this. But now you know, so give me your real estate. Look at this. Nuclear conflict, mega droughts, famine, and widespread rioting will erupt across the world. Well, you know what? They're right with the rioting, but for different reasons, I guess. Where were the protesters getting beaten up yesterday? I think it was in Italy. And a little bit in Germany. You probably don't get to see it on TV, but if you're on Twitter, you get to see the videos. The document predicts that abrupt climate change could bring the planet to the edge of anarchy as countries develop a nuclear threat to defend and secure the dwindling food, water, and energy supplies. Oh my god, that sounds horrible. When is it happening? 2020? Oof. I hope they're going to fix the problem by then. Disruption and conflict will be endemic. By the way, like the people who push for this, what was it, Al Gore? Are the same people that we listen to now. I'm just saying, I'm not saying, but I'm just talking. In the original Rainbow Six book, they dealt with it in a very fitting way. I never read it, but I did play the game. Rioting and famine. So prophetic. Yes, absolutely. But for different reasons. They are happening, okay? But for different reasons. I wanted to have the beach right outside my house. When is the water level rising? By 2020. There was another one. Hold on. There was another article with a park in the United States. Glacier National Park quietly removes its gun by 2020 sign. So, in recent years, the National Park Service prominently figured brochures, signs, and films which proclaimed that all the glaciers in GNP were melting away rapidly. But now officials at GNP seem to be scrambling to hide or replace the previous hysterical claims which said that the ice caps will be melted by 2020. I mean, usually when you make a prediction, like, listen to me, alright? If you want to make a prediction, try making it up until a point where you're not alive anymore, so that you don't face the consequences, right? So don't say 2020, say something like, I don't know, 2060. Like, a time period where you're probably going to be dead. By the way, there was like that guy in the US which started a cult. I forgot his name. But he was talking about how he managed to read in the Bible and interpret when the rapture is coming. And unfortunately, like, there were some cultists which sold their house and quit their job waiting for the rapture. And I'm saying unfortunately because those morons had kids. So they sold everything, donated all the money to show that they're actually, believing. And the rapture didn't come. Now, apparently, like, the guy, he predicted that the rapture will happen when he thought he's going to be dead. But the fucker managed to live to like 96 or 97 years or so. Let me see if I can find it, because it's just... So, see if I can find the one, so, I don't know the exact name of the guy, unfortunately. But I think it was like a couple of years ago that this happened. And you had like people just sitting in the streets waiting for the rapture to take place. Ah, I found it. The Dutch family. So, oh no, hold on. This is not the guy. Apparently, like, there's more people that did this. So this is actually something else. Like, let's see another one. Oh, apparently I can't read it. Family spent 9 years in a secluded Dutch farmhouse waiting for the end of days. So, police rescued the father and his 5 children living in a remote Dutch house. And apparently, the first pictures have emerged of a 25-year-old man who saved his family from a life of isolation at a remote Dutch house, waiting for the end of the days. Police said that he had been living in a small enclosed space at a house in Ruiner World? Is that a thing? Ruiner World. In Amsterdam. So, until he appeared at a bar, ordered 5 beers and said he couldn't go home. They led the officers to the remote homestead where they found his 4 brothers and sisters, aged 18 and 25, along with their father. The family had been taken to a safe location while a 7th person has been arrested. Investigators admit that they are puzzled by the case and are still working to answer key questions such as whether the family were held against their will and what exactly their relationship was with Joseph B. The mystery is deepened further by the fact that the eldest son had access to social media and had been active on Facebook since the start of the year. Police raided the premise, said it's not clear what, if anything, was found. This is like bizarre. Okay, so maybe that, like, everything was consensual, like maybe everyone believed it. The house is set 200 yards from the nearest road and another 100 yards from the nearest building. Picture showed it was surrounded by trees blocking the view. It also had the perimeter fence. Vegetables were being grown in plots surrounding the property, while a goat was also kept there. He was often seen watching over the property with binoculars and would send away anyone who strayed too close. Yeah, like so far, it doesn't seem like a crime was committed. I mean, don't get me wrong, they sound like religious fanatics, but if they weren't held against their will, then it doesn't seem like there was any type of crime. I mean, what? Are they shocked that people just lived off the land? Best wishes from Kadweed. Do you take a sacrament before marriage where you take on a third name? We do so in Poland. No, it's from birth. Like, my mother gave me this name. And a lot of other Romanians have it. It's an Orthodox tradition. Like, you get the saint name. The place had to be called Radar World, yes. By the way, let me show you something else. So, I saw this on Netflix. And I really dislike the art style. I find it weird that Jinx actually has boobs. Like, she has no boobs in the game. My problem is that Vi actually looked like a little boy. I mean, you don't know that this is a girl unless I tell you. Caitlyn also, but you know, like besides the art style, I have to say I'm at episode 2 and the story is actually kind of fun. So I did enjoy. Oh, okay, now Caitlyn looks like a woman. I did enjoy it. Like I'm surprised. I thought that I'm going to hate it just because you know when you see this type of art style, you kind of think, all right, well, it's made by woke people. Woke people aren't creative. But no, it's actually fun. So I don't know, like if I'm going to make a review about it or not. But so far I'm enjoying myself, which is very bizarre. Like I shouldn't enjoy myself when I'm watching Netflix. I guess it's because I actually like the world of League of Legends, so maybe a little bit of fanboyism happening there. It was okay, just a bit woke, but wasn't mind-blowing or anything. No, it's entertaining. I mean, I'm looking at it, and I can't say it's like the, you know, watching Stargate, and I'm like, oh my god, I can hardly wait for the next episode to come out. Or like Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul. No, but it's like, yeah, I mean, it's good. You know, I'm watching it, I'm having fun. I do like some of the environments. Like the background in some places is really nice. They do really they do a really great job with the color palette and whatnot. What's the story about? So kind of hard to tell. I guess it's the story between two sisters that managed to escape a war, and it's kind of like well, not really like Huckleberry Finn, but it has a little bit of, you know, like kids in old London that like street rats that are trying to get by, and you know, there used to be those types of movies and books, especially in English culture, where you'd have like a couple of kids who, like back then, they didn't have I mean, they did have orphanages, but they would work them really hard. So there were kids that didn't want to go to the orphanage, and they would just live on the street. So you have like entire gangs of hood rats. That's how they called them. And they did a lot of swindles, and they tried to, you know, make a living, while there was like a greater game being played by the adults. So like the adults would usually use the kids in various crimes and whatnot. It's that type of thing. It's a good story. I mean, there's a lot of things happening, especially if you know the lore of League of Legends. They're doing this as a prequel, and there's experiment between magic and trying to mix magic with science. And the world of League of Legends magic was very destructive. It almost destroyed some continents. So people persecuted mages because of that. But now there's a guy that wants to mix magic with science because that way anyone could use magical abilities, right? Because magic, you have to be born with it in order to have it, but he wanted to mix it with science so that anyone can have. It's interesting. What can I say? Oh, you can't stand stories with teenage protagonists. This is different, and I think like they grow up by the middle of the season. So I don't know. Just give it a chance. You might like it. Again, it's not mind blowing. Like it's not really wow. This is so great. But it's good. What can I say? It's entertaining. Trust the magic science. Yeah, the Oliver Twist type of thing. A coming of age story. Yeah, that's a really good point. Coming of age story. I don't think it's about equity necessarily. I don't know. I didn't feel like it's social justicey. Um, it's yeah, it's like more like a personal story than like a grand meta narrative. I never said it's World of Warcraft. A world with magic would make magic users gods, basically. So it depends like how powerful the mage is. But yeah, pretty much. I mean, that's what happened in League of Legends. Although like they eventually had the war, like they had the mage war, which tore apart continents, and the people just rose up against the mages, and there were just too many people for the mages to handle. And after that, all the mages got persecuted, and there's just a couple of nations in the world that allows magic. But yeah, I mean, in reality, if mages would exist, it depends how powerful we're talking about. Like, if it's a mage that can, I don't know. For example, if it's like a druid from Dungeons and Dragons, like a low-level druid, maybe he can make plants grow, maybe he can summon a little bit of water to create rain. Then that wouldn't be godlike, and those people would probably be valued by societies. But if you have like a mage that can cast fireballs and stuff, I mean, yeah, he would be powerful, but in our society, he would probably be taken down really quickly by, weapons and guns and stuff. But if you have like a level max mage that can cast wish, stop time, and all that nonsense, then yeah, there's nothing you can do against that. Come back after episode 3 and you'll feel more impressed. Yeah, I was liking where the story is going. I know, Tactical Droid. Go watch it and tell me what you thought. And we can talk about it next day. With Fireball, spell would make sieging cities very easy. Yeah, but what if the city would have their own mages? That would basically be God if some dude was making it rain and grow plants. I mean, if you read the Legend of Olympus, like there were lesser beings, the nymphs, like lesser than gods, and they could do that as well. Like a god would be far more powerful. A god would be able to make rain and whatnot, but he would be able to perform much more impressive miracles. Like for example, Zeus, he would be able to throw lightning from the sky. He would be able to teleport. He would have access to far more powers than just make it rain. If mages were real, you'd have an aristocracy of mages, but then they would do witch hunts. No, it's hard to tell, right? Because a mage would still be a human at one point, so he would still care about his family that would probably not be able to cast magic and whatnot. Like it doesn't mean that all mages would just instantly click with each other. But it also is important, like how exactly would the magic manifest itself? Because like if you have a kid that can do magical abilities, like he can shoot lightning bolts from his fingertips, how can you pattern something like that? Like how can you teach a kid discipline that's actually more powerful than the pattern? Like you send him to your room, to the room, and he doesn't want to go to the room. Like what next? Like are you going to spank him? Okay, now he can electrocute you. Like what do you do then? Zeus would be able to turn himself in a duck and still find women to copulate with. Well, maybe he managed to find the primordial furry. It's called Arcane. I mean, let me see if I can. Oh my god, if I show the trailer and it actually ends up copyrighting the stream, maybe I shouldn't show the trailer. Just because it could copyright the stream. I'm not showing the trailer. I have decided. You know what? Go watch the movie. I'll end the stream here. So thank you for watching it. I'll probably try and finish Call of Duty tomorrow. I tried playing a little bit today, but the game crashed. So yeah, I mean, thank you for watching. Thank you for the super chats, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Go watch